And yet, as you all know, the starting wage at Walmart now is $11 an hour. And people cannot make it on $11 an hour. You can't pay rent. You can't get health care. You can't feed your kids or put gas in the car on $11 an hour.
Or the starting wage he's referring to at Walmart, it's significantly higher than that for the entire population. Anyway, that was Bernie Sanders invited in to speak at the Walmart shareholders meeting going on in Arkansas today. Want to get the back and forth on this from slightly left of center commentator, radio host Ethan Behrman. We also have National Taxpayers Union senior fellow Maddie Duppler and the Independent Women Forum Patrice Lee Onwuka. Patrice Lee, end it with you. If I could get your take on what is resonating there among supporters of Bernie Sanders, that companies aren't doing enough, that they're not paying enough. With the base, that's very popular, right?
Well, it may sound good to the base, but it's actually not factual. He's talking about minimum wage earners, and when you look at those who are actually earning minimum wage, they are not raising their families on that. More than half of them are young people between the ages of 16 and 24, and they're working part-time. So when you talk about raising the minimum wage, which is what Bernie Sanders is looking at, and targeting Walmart, he really wants to see fewer opportunities for young people, fewer smaller paychecks as workers cut out, as employers cut hours, and potentially the replacement of all of these low-wage jobs with automation, with robots.
Ethan, what do you think?
Well, I think it's much more than just the minimum wage. We have a double-dipping major corporation here from the standpoint of over half the workers are part-time. So that's $11 an hour part-time. So you don't get health insurance. You don't get other benefits. This is a company that makes billions of dollars selling goods to people on food stamps, while because of their low pay and part-time hours, some of their employees, a lot of their employees, still have to get food stamps as well. This is a major issue. And in addition, I would disagree with Patrice by saying service sector jobs in a store like Walmart, many of those will not be automated. Those require human beings to interface with other human beings. It's not McDonald's where you're just placing an order for a burger. Humans are involved, and Walmart can do better.
Maddie, what do you think?
I'm not quite sure what Ethan is getting at here. A couple statistics that aren't mentioned about Walmart is that it's the third largest employer in the world. On top of that, most of its managers make 3 times what the average U.S. worker makes. So this is a company that takes care of its workers. I think that when you've got a part-time workforce, that indicates that it's flexible as well for its workers to be able to choose the employment path that they want. But I think it's very obvious what Bernie Sanders is trying to do here. He's trying to turn a shareholder event into a political event because it thinks it scores him cheap political points. But at the end of the day, when you look at the fact that there even is a shareholder event, that indicates the ability of Walmart to democratize some of its wealth and allow people to participate in its equity. To me, having a shareholder event for a big company indicates how other people can get rich, not just at the very top, but at the very bottom too. Remember, more people in this country are exposed to the stock market than are paying federal income taxes because they have retirement accounts, because they have some kind of savings that is invested in the stock market. This is not just a get-rich fat cat sitting around Wall Street sort of meetup. These are average Americans who have built equity because of the success in businesses like Walmart, and that should be allowed to continue. The vision that Bernie Sanders is plotting is quite a bit different for this country.
Well, whatever the case, Patrice, it is popular with many Democrats now who say that corporate America is getting away with murder, that the tax cuts they enjoyed, they've not shared the bounty with their workers, et cetera. So for the nomination, if you're trying to get the Democratic presidential nomination, is that a good tack?
Well, for those who like what they're hearing from Bernie Sanders, maybe it is. It's also not, it's disingenuous, though. When you look at Walmart, for example, because of the tax cuts, as you identified, Neil, Walmart expanded paid leave benefits to its workers. And a lot of companies like Chipotle, like CVS, suddenly women who are going to have babies or who had babies could now take that time off and afford to have their job when they came back. So, you know, I do think that if he wants to earn the nomination, he's probably going to have to say, you know, to get involved in the rich versus poor, but at least be truthful about it. At least say, you know what, these corporations, they actually are doing good things. And hey, some of that is driven by good, smart, pro-growth policy like tax cuts.
You know, Ethan, one thing that confuses me, if you're going to complain about Walmart, why not say the same about Amazon or Federated Stores, where the minimum wage is actually lower and the available benefits are actually fewer? Or is it just that Walmart is an easy, big name, worldwide recognized target?
Neil, Bernie has gone after Amazon and a number of these other large employers. And actually, to the other two panelists' point, where I think that they're totally wrong, is this type of public pressure works. We have seen it time and time again. Getting their name in the news. Bernie Sanders has been focused on this for decades for the American worker.
And why doesn't he say, all right, they're helping at Walmart with college for their associates, and they're doing a lot of things that supposedly he wanted in the first place? Why can't he say or acknowledge some of the things I've advocated they're doing, whether he's the reason for that or not? It's just all they're pathetic and evil.
I'd be willing to bet that Bernie will acknowledge some of the gains that have been made.
Well, he didn't today. He didn't.
I don't think he will.
But because we need to focus, especially during a political campaign, we're going to focus on what we want to change, not to acknowledge, hey, we've made this progress, let's stop there. It's no, we have a lot more work to do. We have a heavily part-time, heavily
that's not fair and
overweighted
balanced,
part-time
my
workforce.
friend, right? That's
Well,
not very fair.
here's the thing, Neil. You see Ethan and Patrice saying two different causalities for the same phenomenon, which is the fact that there's more benefits, that workers are benefiting from companies giving them more. I would argue it's because public policy has created more capital and businesses are allowed to invest in their workers now versus public pressure being the reason for that.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting all of you, and I apologize for that, but we're going to a break. We'll have more of this.